All right, the wait is finally over. The Sony WF-1000 are finally here. And yes, these are the latest from Sony in their true wireless buds. Now, why are these really important and special, and how well do they stack up to everything else? Let's start off with just looking at what the XM5s bring to the table and how it's improved from the XM4. Now, the XM5 price point is $299, which is similar to where the XM4 started off last year, but it comes with some really new, cool improvements. We've got 6 microphones here built into the device now, giving you, of course, better noise cancellation, as well as also better audio quality. Speaking of that, noise cancellation, also speaking of the processing of audio, they have a new integrated processor. It's the V2 processor, as well as also a new noise canceling chip called the QN2E. Now, what does this all mean for you? It means better noise canceling than we got last year, and that was pretty good, really great, pretty much the best, I think, in all categories, and also better audio quality. Now, speaking of that, there's also brand new drivers, Dynamic X driver, as well as also you've got bone conducting sensors, yes, built into as well. So there's a lot of tech that's packed into this very small frame. And when you look at this against, say, the Mark IV from last year, you are actually surprised that Sony was able to cram all this stuff into a smaller size and package. The Mark IVs are bigger just in terms of the size of the case, also bigger when you look at it with each earbuds in comparison, and this has more tech built into it. Now, the other thing to note is that you also have that quick charge. 3 minutes now gives you 60 minutes of playtime, so a little faster there. Now, we can talk about the comparison between these two all we want, but there are a ton of true wireless buds that came out this year, and how well does the Sony XM5 stack up to the rest of the competition? And speaking of that competition, I'm going to give you the lineup quickly here. The first one are the Beats Studio Plus, coming at $169, comes in 3 colors, and in terms of battery life, we're looking at 9 hours each earbuds, or 36. While the next one are the Soundcore 4 NC, which are $99, 5 colors in total. Battery life is 10 hours on the buds and 50 with the case, truly impressive. The JBL Tour Pro 2s come in next with that display on the case, first of its kind in the industry. $249 in terms of price points, comes in 2 colors and a 40-hour battery life in total. The Nothing Ear 2 comes in next with $149, 2 colors, and battery life of 36 hours. Then we have the Technics AZ80, which pushes up to the premium tier with 2 colors, black and silver, $299, battery life is 7 and 24. Of course, we have the Galaxy Buds 2 Pro, came out earlier this year, priced at $189. Yes, you can find it cheaper. 3 colors, 8 hours per bud, and of course 30 hours with the case. Then we have the AirPods Pro 2, came out last September, priced now at $248 from Apple, and of course your battery life is 6 hours and 30, 6 hours with the buds, 30 hours with the case combined. Then of course the XM4s, which I showed you earlier, 2 colors, $278 right now, 8 hours with the buds and 24. Now the XM5 also have 2 colors and also come in terms of battery life, 8 hours and 24. So let's start off with our very first category, battery life. Who has the best battery life? I've stated all of them for you here, but I'm actually going to tell you what I actually got from each one. Now, the worst battery life was actually the Nothing Ear 2. Even though Nothing claims 36 hours, it didn't get me anywhere close to that. I probably lasted about 4 hours just with the buds themselves. Hopefully that's a software issue that will fix that, but that's what I was getting, between 4 and 5 hours with that. Then of course, next up are the Technics AZ80 with that 724. It's pretty standard, it works that way. Then of course the XM4s and XM5s with the 824, then followed by the Galaxy Buds with 30 hours. Tied with the AirPods also at 30 hours. And then of course the Beats Studio with 9 and 36. Then the JBL Tour Pros with 40 hours. And finally the Soundcores at 50 hours. Truly impressive there. So Soundcore at $99 really brings a lot to the table there and packs much. Now let's move up to my favorite category, which of course is audio quality. How well do these sound? How is the audio quality? How good is the listening experience, especially when you're listening to the music you want to? Now with the XM4s and the XM5s, I always suggest make sure you use the highest level codecs, and any earbuds you're using, make sure you use the highest level codecs you can. LDAC is available, and you can go ahead and just select that within your Bluetooth option menus for whatever buds you're using, if it's available through there. But Sony has it through that option. And with the XM5s, this is where they brought in a lot of things that makes it really different and fresh. Now, you've got, of course, some really warm sounds, but also some really nice clear highs when you listen with the XM5s. You can clearly hear everything come out really fresh and exciting. But when I say all this, what does it mean in terms of ranking? Who's the best and who's the worst? This is where it was really hard for me, because honestly, I think this year everybody has done a really good job in making the earbuds sound much better. So I'm gonna start from the top and go the way to the bottom because it was just really difficult. And I think the XM5s take the win here, slightly, because they just feel more robust and also much of a wider range between the high, mids, and lows. You can hear more separation there. Followed by the XM4s coming in, which were my best audio earbuds last year in terms of audio quality, and they still sound really good. A close third are the Technics AZ80. Now the AZ80 have a much warmer sound. It's really nice. I love warm sound in audio, and it does a good job there with the audio processing. Now coming into the number 4 spot, I have a couple devices tied in here. These are the AirPods Pro 2, the Galaxy Buds 2 Pro, the Beats Studio Plus, and the Nothing Ear T2. Now you're wondering, like, how is that possible? Well, the one thing to note is that Beats have really done a really good job in increasing the audio quality this year. Same thing with Nothing, really surprising there. I think the Galaxy Buds 2 Pro really did a good job early on, as well as also the AirPods Pro 2. The adaptive EQs on the AirPods Pro 2 don't really work for me. They tend to change the way this audio sounds, but still works for some people. So that's why it comes, all 4 coming at the number 4 spot. And then in the number 5 spot is tied with the Soundcore 4NC and the JBL Studio Tour 2. Now, that doesn't mean they are terrible. They sound really good. It's just a really tight race. The Soundcore especially is priced at $99, so you're getting your bang for your buck there. The JBL Studios, yes, they're priced at $249, but they are very bass heavy and they lead more into that bass audio. So if you're a fan of just super bass in your music, this will work really well for you, but it doesn't let you hear a lot of the highs, and also some of the mids are crushed. Now let's move over to audio quality when it comes to voice calls. This is very interesting because we have some very new tech with the XM5s, with of course bone conducting sensor, which also uses the microphones as well. And I have to say they have done a fantastic job. I remember the XM3s were manageable at best and XM4s were much better, but this is a huge leap. Now normally Apple usually wins this category here, and this year it is a tie, because I think Sony has really done a good job moving things forward. That bone conducting sensor, as well as also the extra microphones, really do a good job in making sure the audio quality is crystal clean and clear. The AirPods Pro 2, just stellar as always, and it was really hard for me to pick between the two. After that, everybody else just comes in second, third, fourth, just continually, but they all actually do a good job in the audio quality. I will give the last place to the Technics AZ80 because it actually uses the left ear more than the right ear in terms of the microphone picking up your call. So when I had conversation with just one earbud, people noticed that I was far away, especially when using the right. So that is why I'm putting that at the bottom. Now let's move over to, of course, noise cancellation. How well is the noise cancellation here? Now all of these buds have noise cancellation, and to me it's stacked up there with the XM4s and XM5s, then closely followed by the AirPods Pro 2. Those are the top 3, and then after that are the Galaxy Buds 2 Pro, which could have been also number 3, really close there. And then everybody kind of follows down the rest. I think it's a mixture and a mixed bag with most of the other brands within this battle. But of course, the XM5 still takes the case because I think Sony has probably the best noise canceling in there. But be reminded, make sure you have the right fit with your earbuds, or else you won't actually get the best listening experience and also the best noise cancellation here. Now, what about transparency? Well, transparency mode is where Apple always wins. And in this case, I still give the edge to Apple. I think the XM5 has come really close, but Apple still feels more natural in terms of the transparency, while the XM5s are almost there. I mean, it's really, really close. And also, again, you have to note that if you're using comply foam tips or memory foam tips, you will get a different sound, so that could be affecting it here. But Apple takes the cake here, followed by the XM5s, then the XM4s, then we move to the Galaxy, and then we kind of move down from there on that spot. Okay, so all these buds have different features built into them, and also some of them have some more extended features, which brings us to software. There's a lot of software applications that you can use between all the different buds, but which one actually gives you the best and also the most comprehensive? And this is where it kind of varies between two devices. I give, of course, just the best software to the XM5 and XM4s because they bring in a lot of useful features that allow you to use the buds more effectively. Some of those features include adaptive sound control, allowing you to, of course, change your ANC and ambient noise depending on your location, as well as also the built-in EQs that you can customize. There's also a find your equalizer, which allows you to tune your equalizer on here. And then you also have the ability to go in and activate speak to chat. So that's really comprehensive. Now, everyone has a really good app. The second best I'll give is, of course, to the JBL Tour 2s. Not just because of the app, but because you have those controls directly on the case as well. So if you don't have your phone next to you, you can still do a lot of the functionality on the case. Then followed by the Galaxy with its really robust app there. After that, it's the Nothing Ear 2. And then finally, at the very end, we have the AirPods Pro 2 because Apple just doesn't have an app for the AirPods. Everything is done with an adaptive system, and sometimes I think it doesn't work as well. So what does that mean for the best wireless buds among the pack here? And I think the winner is pretty clear. It's the Sony WF-1000XM5s. Now, that doesn't mean that it is absolutely perfect. It does have some issues that I don't like. For one, the battery life, even though it's smaller, and there are some other smaller devices here, have longer battery lives per bud and also longer in general. So I'm hoping that Sony actually makes some changes to that. I also don't like the feel of the buds themselves because it's really slippery with the casing. I prefer the more textured casing on the XM4 to the XM5s. So I think that's also might affect some of your fit there. And I do wish they also offered more silicone ear tips and not just comply foam, which are great. But that being said, they are still the best in terms of combined audio quality, noise cancellation, and all the other features built in. Now, everything else here you see though, they're all really, really good. Now, it doesn't matter which one you pick, you will find one that fits you quite well. And I think whichever the buds you see here that you select will do the job for you greatly. But my pick is still the Sony WF-1000XM5. So if you guys have any questions or any comments, let me know. Otherwise, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and always enjoy your entertainment.